Kent Spitfires began their Royal London One Day Cup campaign with a 6-wicket loss to Hampshire, the visitors to Canterbury winning with 29 balls to spare. Put in, Kent made a fine start with Joe Denley and Daniel Bell-Drummond opening up with a stand of 94 runs from the opening 15 overs. These just a couple of the 9 boundaries struck by this pair, who have a history of getting their team off to grand starts in this format. The partnership was broken by Liam Dawson, who had Denley 4 short of his 50, taken at mid-on by Mason Crane. Things slowed a little after that, and when Sean Dixon cut Crane to Michael Carberry at backward point to fall for 20, the total read 127 for 2 at the halfway stage. Bell-Drummond had completed his half-century of 63 balls, but fell for 56 as he chopped Sean Irvine to Chris Wood. In very cold conditions, the audience was warmed up with the first 6 of the match. Captain sat northeast, depositing Dawson over long on. But having made it to 17, Northeast offered debutant Ian Holland his maiden wicket, a flick to mid-wicket finding Dawson. Darren Stevens did just what Darren Stevens has been doing for years, a maximum off Crane, pushing things along. But in the same over from the leg spinner, Alex Blake was legged before for 9. Stevens tried to keep up the momentum by clearing the rope off Reece Topley in the next over. But the England man then clipped Wayne Parnell's off stump to leave Kent on 194 for 6 with a dozen overs remaining. 26 more had been added by the time that Adam Rouse was plumb in front to Holland. And after Stevens completed a 50 off 49 balls, Matt Coles was bowled on the swing by Dawson. Much now relied on Stevens, who struck his 3rd 6, only to be out for 60 with a miscue off Topley to James Vince. The Spitfires innings was completed with 2 balls unused, they having to settle for a total of 258 as Mitch Claydon gave Topley his 3rd success with the ball. Kent started perfectly in the field, Parnell doing enough to trap Carberry in front with the 2nd ball of the reply. But that, alas, was the high point as Tom Alsop and James Vince combined to put the result of this match beyond doubt. They put on 112 runs for the 2nd wicket in 16 overs, with some sumptuous shots being produced on what was never the easiest pitch to bat on, as is often the case at this time of year. Vince especially was in sparkling form, scoring almost all of his 69 runs in boundaries. These just some examples of the 15 he struck from the 50 balls he faced. There was some hope when Stevens trapped him in front, but in all honesty, the damage had been done. Dawson had time to bed in before being bowled by Claydon for 19. The bowler back into the attack after his opening over had cost 16 runs. And he was celebrating again when he had Jimmy Adams held by Stevens on 22. Hampshire left a fine 79 runs from the 17 overs left, and still with 6 wickets in hand. Alsop was the difference in the end, the youngster completing a very impressive 100 off 125 deliveries with a dozen boundaries. And he was still there at the end, hitting the ball to the fence once again to end on 112 and to take his side across the line with the best part of 5 overs remaining. So it was not the ideal start for a team with an impressive recent history in this competition, but there is soon time for redemption as we head to Somerset next Tuesday.